What if committing to just one habit could radically change your financial situation? Kind of like when a fitness expert tells you to hit this water goal, track your calories, or make sure you walk this many steps a day. This one habit, called an anchor habit, leads to consistency and helps you to accomplish those bigger goals because you're sticking with it. Today, I want to share with you the one financial anchor habit that the Christian needs to know. It's going to sound very different than the world, but it will change the way you think about money and your financial situation. And that's not an empty promise, because when we applied this one anchor habit into our financial lives, it changed everything forever. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Sarah, and here we talk about biblical stewardship, practical money management, and managing money like it's all His. If this sounds like something that will encourage you, take a minute to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment. All those awesome things really help the channel. So what is an anchor habit? It's just a habit, repeatable, easy to attain, that sets the tone for everything else you're trying to accomplish. In finance, anchor habits could be things like checking your budget app every day, tracking your expenses, or making sure that you're saving a certain percentage. You get to choose what your anchor habit is going to be. It needs to be something that you can be faithful and consistent in so that you can make progress. But I believe the most powerful anchor habit is going to sound so different than what the world is telling you. It's simply this: pay yourself second. You probably thought I was going to say first. You've probably seen all the videos here on YouTube, if you're interested in looking up money management, that say pay yourself first. And I do get it. What they're teaching isn't wrong. They're just missing a component that I think for us as Christians is vitally important. When I say pay yourself second, what I really mean is pay God first. That's right. You want to just give right off the top, giving back first fruits to God right away. Then, of course, you follow the wisdom that says pay yourself second. Wherever you are in your financial journey, that might mean putting money towards saving your emergency fund, paying off your debt, investing, making sure you're hitting those financial goals. And then whatever is left over, that's what you get to spend. You can enjoy it, you can use it for needs and wants, but it really is that simple. You give to God, you save, you spend, in that order. Before you pay a bill, before you buy a latte, before you put some money into your investing account, you give to the Lord right off the top. And here's why this matters so much and why this is such a big, important change. Most people do it the opposite way. They do a lot of spending, then they might set aside some savings and then kind of give from whatever is left over. I want to encourage you to reorient the way you prioritize managing God's money, because you're storing what already belongs to Him, and you want to be obedient and you want to be faithful. When you flip things, when you do this, everything else begins to fall into place. Over 10 years ago, my husband and I did just that. We decided that no matter what our financial goals were, we were going to always, without fail, give to God first. While we were paying off debt, while we were saving up the money to cash flow a move across the country, we never failed to give God the first fruits of what He'd given to us. Now, was this always easy? Did it just mean that we had tons of money left over? No, we had financial goals we had to hit. We had just a mess to clean up, but we never forgot to honor God first. And truly, that blessed us in so many ways. And I'm not saying that you give to God to get, because if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I am not into that prosperity gospel nonsense. You give to God to be obedient, and then you allow Him to give back to you whatever He wants to give you. It is up to Him. Your job is just to manage whatever it is. Giving is not a prescription for getting, but what you will get is blessing that comes from just knowing that you're obeying. What you will 100% get is more contentment and more gratitude for what you already have. What you will get is not depending on your money to save you, but knowing that God will provide for your needs, that it's all of His grace, that He will take care of whatever comes. Growing in gratitude and contentment along the way. These are all wonderful things to grow in. And simply flipping it around and making sure that you are giving to God first, paying yourself second, will bring all of these blessings to be a part of your life, because we've seen them do the same for us. And don't just take my word for it. This is a biblical principle. Proverbs 3:9 says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruit of all your crops. God asks us to give our first and our best, not just what's left over, because let's be honest, if we flip it back the other way, is there usually much left over? No. When we anchor our finances in giving first and paying ourselves second, we're putting God in His rightful place and we're trusting Him to take care of our needs. It really is that simple. But how does this actually work in real life? With your next paycheck, before you touch a dime, You set aside a portion that you're going to give. This can be to your local church. You can give to missionaries, ministries that you know are doing godly work. You can give to help the needs of people who are less fortunate than you as the Lord reveals those things to you. I like to encourage people to give to their local church because I think that you should be part of a healthy local church and that they will be able to help you to funnel that money into things like missionaries and benevolence ministries and things that you know have some oversight. But really, how you give, this is between you and the Lord. So I would seek his word and his wisdom on exactly who and how you're going to give. After giving right off the top, what's left is now ready for you to boss around because you get to manage this money you are stored. So your first priority needs to be to take care of your four walls. You need to make sure that you have a roof over your head and that you can eat. And then you want to make sure that you are taking care of financial goals. Things like paying off debt, building up your emergency fund, maybe setting aside some money towards an investing account. Wherever you're at in your financial journey, that's going to change. That's going to look different for everybody. And it's going to look different for you at different points as you continue to work through hitting your financial goals. Maybe you want to throw money today at this big credit card debt, but in a couple of years from now, when that's paid off because you've been faithful, you're going to start putting that money on paying off your mortgage early or saving for a fun vacation. After that, the money that's left over is yours to spend. So you give every dollar a job and you tell it what it's going to do. Maybe it's going to be doing something really fun like going out to dinner or to a movie. Maybe you get to buy yourself some new clothes. Maybe there's some sinking funds you want to put that money into, like your Christmas fund or paying for your insurance. But how much should you actually be giving? And when it comes to giving, I don't believe in throwing out exact percentages. A lot of Christians like to use 10% as sort of a standard, and I'm not opposed to doing that. But I really think the important thing to do is to think of our giving biblically. As New Covenant Christians, we are not told that we have to give a certain amount. We are told that our giving should be cheerful and that we should be giving sacrificially. So what that looks like for you and where you're at, I can't tell you. I would encourage you to pray. I would encourage you to seek wise counsel from pastors, elders, wise Christian friends, particularly ones that you know are good with money. That might be 5% for you. It might be $25 a paycheck. I have no idea. It might be abundantly more than that. Only you can know what counts as sacrificial, and only you can have control over your heart about if you're doing so cheerfully. But that cheerful, sacrificial giving should be done right off the top because that is where the habit is formed, when it's just automatic. You don't even look at all of the money that you have to work with and think of it like, oh, I have this much. That's the way I do it. When I do my budget, I just immediately take out what we're giving. And then I look at that number, and that's when I start thinking about the bills, the financial goals, etc. That money that belongs to the Lord, I mean, it all belongs to the Lord, but that money that we're giving back to him, I don't even factor that in as money that I can do anything with other than just give it right back. Make paying God first just a non-negotiable part of how you handle your money, how you start when you do every budget. I literally start my budgets by praying and then giving. And then I get into the nitty-gritty of everything else. When you get this one habit down, it really just changes everything because it changes you at the heart level. It helps you to start thinking about money differently. You are not the owner. You are just a manager, and you just want to manage God's money, God's way, for God's glory. You get excited about being able to bless others with that giving and seeing what God will do with it, knowing that he is the multiplier of these efforts. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He can take whatever little bit we sacrificially and cheerfully give and do innumerable things with it, more than we could ever imagine. I mean, what better way to use the money God's given you than to just give it back to him and let him just use it for his glory. It's fun. It's exciting. It's really cool to be able to come alongside people when there's a need and just help and encourage them in these practical ways that come from being able to financially give. You truly will have so much fun as you give generously and cheerfully and sacrificially. I just can't even tell you how many times my husband and I have just had the biggest smile on our face because we are just so enjoying being able to be generous. And as you do that, it changes you. It makes you think differently about money. Money doesn't control you and run the show anymore. God has his rightful place, and then you get to manage the money for his glory. When you're faithful and consistent in these financial practices, you'll see that you can be faithful and consistent in the rest. You'll be saving more. You'll be thinking about money more as a tool that you can use and not as something that rules your life. You'll approach your budgets with less anxiety and with more excitement. You'll be able to be happier with what you have because you grow in contentment, and you'll enjoy the blessings that come from just being obedient. It really does change everything. Once you get this vital anchor habit in place, you are ready to move on to the next steps. And I've created a playlist with lots of help to do just that. Click over here and I will see you over there. Thanks for watching.